Well, good afternoon, everybody. I want to welcome all of my friends from around, actually from around the world. It's 12 o'clock. I'm sorry, it's 1 o'clock on the East Coast of Florida. And it's late at night for all my friends in Australia, all my friends in Malaysia. And yet some of you are here. You know, there's 29 more days till the end of the year. And your business, my friends, does not slow down between now and New Year's Eve. As a matter of fact, for those of you that are in boot camp, please type in the chat whether any questions that you have. I'm going to answer everybody's questions. And the truth is that for those of you that are serious about building your business, I strongly urge you to join me in our current boot camp, because lives are going to be changed. Your business does not slow down in the month of December. And so it's all about putting yourself on a social network, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Pinterest. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what it is, even YouTube. You create accounts on these social networks for one reason. And that reason is to be visible so people can see you. But more important than that, there's no reason to be shy. Once you create that profile, once you put yourself out there and make yourself as visible as possible, start meeting people. Now, Reba wants to know, should I use my personal or business Facebook profile? Reba, use your personal profile. You know, I've been teaching this now for 26 years. And Facebook actually changed the social networking world when they created a social network where it was okay. It was okay to put your name, put it up on the internet. Prior to that, I mean, people use screen names. This is the internet, for Christ's sake. And Paul, you don't need anything but a personal profile. That personal profile is about you. What Facebook did was to take a very, very simple concept. Put your face up there, put your name up there, put some information up there, and connect with other like-minded people. Now, initially, it went to around the college campuses. Then, as kids started to graduate from college, you know, they kept in touch, and adults started to jump in. But it was in 2008 when they added a live chatting feature that was internal. You didn't have to upload anything. MySpace had arrived on the social networking scene maybe 3 years ahead of them. And I watched them both trying to figure out, how can we get this live chat built in so that you don't have to download this, or you don't have to download that. Facebook beat MySpace to the punch. And as a result, over the next 2 years, they exploded. So all you need is a simple profile. Now, what happened on Facebook was all of a sudden marketers begin to realize, oh my God, we have direct access to 1 million people. So they started to turn these personal pages into commercials, business pages, promoting all kinds of products. And to keep it pure, what Facebook did was they created additional pages. Now you got a fan page, you got a business page, you got product pages, you got all kinds of pages. The idea was to keep the personal profile personal. And that's why you want to be using your personal profile on Facebook to build your business. Initially, the business pages gave you limited ability to reach out and network and connect with other people. And over the years, they started to add some of those same communication features. But your personal page is all you need to be able to mix and mingle and network with other people. Now, Reba mentioned the concept of attraction marketing. What better way to connect with people like-minded people by putting yourself out there as the person that your ideal prospects would want to know. If you wanted to network with people that, for example, liked horses, that's easy. You take your cover page and you put up there some interesting pictures of horses, make some posts that resonate with horse people, things that people will share, and you could go out and you could start meeting people that are into horses. A few years back, Facebook decimated their searching feature. Why? Because they wanted to sell advertising. Now, when you do Facebook ads, you could go in there and you could designate male or female. You could designate parts of the world, parts of the country, specific demographics. But people were spending an arm and a leg running ads to get business. And the field was so busy, a lot of people lost their shirt. The truth is, you don't have to advertise. This morning, we gave a demonstration of how, if you were looking to talk to a chiropractor or network with chiropractors, you go on LinkedIn, you do a search, you could bring up tens of thousands of that's an interesting question. I may talk about that in a minute. God, I hate when that happens. I'm on a roll. I'm thinking about things, and all of a sudden somebody puts something in front of me, and where'd my thought go? The thing is that you could look up people, professionals that you want to connect with. If you're really active on Facebook, you could search for them on LinkedIn, pull up the chiropractors. We did it this morning. Found close to, I think it was 99,000 chiropractors. Specify a specific area, and then do a name search and find them on Facebook, and you can communicate with them there. But the personal activity that you're really interested in engaging in, you can do it all on LinkedIn. LinkedIn has become Facebook for professionals. Back in 2016, actually September of 2015, they added a live chatting feature. And once they did that, made it easy for you to communicate back and forth with other people, that changed the game. LinkedIn has added so many Facebook features, and they continue to add them all the time. In fact, there's 4 new ones that LinkedIn has just added. And that's why you are in boot camp, because you get the latest information. Now, I'm really excited to announce that our Endless Free Leads 2022 program that we thought we were going to release in September is now coming out. We're going to get it out to you right before Christmas. You're going to love it. As a matter of fact, we've added 14 new things to it since we announced its release. It's changing all the time. And if you want to get the most current strategies, the most current scripts, join me in boot camp. Now, every month, boot camps are different. There are strategies that will work in December that are unique to December. Holiday strategies that work around holidays. But here's the deal. There's no limit to the number of people that you can talk to. If you are serious about building your business, all right, you have to talk to people. Now, it's a numbers game. If you talk to 10 people a day, 10 people a day, people that you think are candidates for your business, you should be able to close one. Now, that might sound like pretty unattainable numbers, but the truth is it's possible, because you know so much about people. I always use the example of the bowl of M&Ms. If I put you in a room with 100 people, and I said there are 10 people in the room wearing green shirts, and these people wearing green shirts are clearly looking for an opportunity. Not only that, but they share your passion for the things that you enjoy, and they clearly would appreciate your products based on what you read about them, and you knew that they were looking for something. But what about the other 90 people in the room? You going to talk to them? No. You talk to the people that you believe, based on what you see, how they put themselves out there, would be interested in your business. So we start a conversation, we start talking. And by asking some very, very simple, casual questions, you're going to discover whether or not they really indeed are prospects for your business. This is the beauty of it. Because as you're talking to, and they have no clue what your agenda is, because there's nothing on your profile about your business, about what you're selling. It's about you. It's about your lifestyle. It's about who you are, not about your business. Strip all of that network marketing business stuff off your profile. You need to be talking about you. Social networking law number one. What you see is what you get. What people put on their profile states very, very clearly what they want to talk about. But it's a two-edged sword, because what you put on your profile is what people anticipate you want to talk about. So if you've got your profile filled with all kinds of stuff about your business, well, number one, it's going to turn off people from really approaching you. Why? Why would having all that stuff on your page turn people off? Because other people in your business are slamming people, spamming them, hitting them with connection requests, and then pitching them before they really know if they're viable candidates. They will reach out to people, send someone a connection request, and then as soon as the connection is made, they'll go, it's nice to be connected with you. You may or may not be interested in this, but I wanted to put it out there. I'm about to open up a deal where you and I could make a lot of money together. Now, this may or may not be of interest to you. If not, it's no biggie. I'm just throwing it out there. And after people get these same kind of messages over and over again, what do? When they get more, they stop responding. Now, ultimately, some of the people that are approaching them are in your company, and there's all kinds of information about their company and the business on those pages. So they figure out pretty quickly that anybody that's in your company that's trying to connect with them is just like you. And you're dead at the gate. Instead, put yourself out there, and in our profile guide, we step you through the process. We talked about it last night. It's about you. And once your profile is up there, then you are free to go out and start connecting with people that you know in advance need what you have, want what you have. Maybe. Because people don't put everything about themselves on their profile. So what we have to do is we have to ask questions, learn what's underneath, find out who these people really are. And the truth is, we talked about this last week, prospecting on a social network to a certain extent could be compared to internet dating. Internet dating. I met my wife on Match.com. It's all about us connecting with someone that wants to be successful or as successful as you are. You want to find somebody that's going to be your partner in business. You want to find somebody that has the aptitude to be successful, that has a circle of influence that will, again, improve their ability to be successful in your business. Let me pull up the chat window here and see what we got. Okay, now. So, Paul, let me know when you're back and I'll answer your question. Okay, so anybody. Okay, so Paul wants to know, every day I get a notification for LinkedIn news. Do you do anything there? No. Why? I mean, I'm not saying that you couldn't. I never say no to anything. Maybe. I mean, there's certain things I know don't work. But as my coaching students will attest, I mean, if something new happens, I'd be the first one to encourage you, try it. Try it. But try it with measured activity. In other words, you know that expression, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. If you knew in advance when you started talking to somebody that they had a high probability about being in your business or wanting to get into your business, and you knew that there's a lot of people out there that have negative attitudes about network marketing, maybe they tried building a business before. So wouldn't it make sense before you talk to somebody about your business to maybe find out what their experience in network marketing was before you brought up your business? So the person that really had a negative attitude about it, you would avoid. You'd basically stop talking to them. Years ago, Brian Tracy started a social network. It was called iLearning Global. I was their social media trainer for a year and a half. And I was working with their sales director. I think her name was Debbie White. And Debbie was excited about it. They were all excited about it. And we were working off of America Online. And so Debbie hired an assistant, and the assistant was going to go through the basics, follow the profile, reach out to people, start the conversation, get the person to the point where there was serious interest, and then, you know, Debbie would jump in. Well, her assistant was having a conversation with someone. They were looking for a business opportunity. The assistant asked the person, are you familiar with network marketing? And the person says, yes. And so the assistant got all excited and said, okay, why don't we talk on the phone? And then she was going to turn it over to Debbie. Well, the assistant didn't ask, what was your experience with network marketing? Because if she had, she would have gotten a 3-page typed diatribe about how network marketing was a scam, it was illegal, people get hurt, blah, blah, blah. So now Debbie gets on the phone with this guy, and she called me up later. She says, Max, I just had the worst conversation I've ever had with someone that was supposed to be a prospect for my business. And if the rest of the people are on AOL like this, we certainly don't want to be there. And we looked at the text conversation, and I said, like, she didn't ask all the questions. As you're talking to somebody, if you get an answer that clearly shows you they're not really what you're looking for, you can stop, and the person on the other end has no clue that you've done that. None. One of the biggest challenges that people have when they're communicating with somebody is, when do we talk about the business? Now, you've all got a list of scripts. You've all got a list of questions. Let's see what we got here. I'm getting a message from. Okay, good. God, I love success stories. Okay. I've got a big one. I hope I'll be able to share it with you today. If not, we'll be sharing it with everybody tomorrow. When do I talk to somebody about my business? And the answer is simple. When you've identified for sure their need, and when you know what their experience in network marketing is. If it was going to cost you $100 every time you told somebody about your business, you'd really be very selective and qualify people before you did. You know, I said earlier, there's a big similarity between internet dating and prospecting for business. When I was doing it, I did it for 10 years. And I have to tell you something, at the time of my life. It was I compared it to the game of baseball. All right. So you're going through all these profiles, you're looking at different people. And, you know, you got pictures and it's more intimate. In other words, people are telling the hobbies they like. They do typically indicate their profession, but it's more about the things they like to do for fun. So the process is you identify people, and you could search for people, obviously by gender, male or female. You could search for people by age. You could also search for people by body type, by ethnicity. So if you're attracted to tall people, you could put in a height range. If you're attracted to people different sizes, you know, you could do that. That's how you could narrow it down. Even income range. So you got all these different parameters, right? And so you reach out to people, you know, you send people that initial message. And it was interesting is that a lot of people would look at a profile because you could see who looked at your profile and they wouldn't do anything else. Now on LinkedIn, you could do the same thing. You could see people who looked at your profile. And so for some people, it was like, I'm going to look at the profile, and if they're interested, they can write back to me. Well, that's kind of a lazy way to do it. So you write up a little message and you could send it to everybody. You know, a paragraph, a little bit about you, how we appear to like to do the same things. Let's connect. And when you connected with a person on a dating site, we called that first base, compared it to baseball. First base was the electronic connection. And you could almost say the same thing about prospecting, okay? You're looking for people. You send them, you initiate the connection, and when you connect, you're on first base. Now, second base in the dating world was talking to each other. And third base was when you agree to meet. First base to make the connection, second base talk on the phone, and then third base is you agree to meet. And so the process was you make the connection, you go to the phone, you agree to meet, and then if you decide that you want to see them again, well, you hit a home run. You hit a home run. It takes time, however, to learn about somebody, to develop relationships. And so over a period of time, the more you spend time with someone, you may discover things come out. And maybe it's not such a perfect match, but it was a fun process. The biggest problem that people made was they were in such a hurry to get to third base, to have that personal, physical meeting, that they skipped second. You know, you make the connection and then it's like, oh, where would you like to meet? And we're seeing that's happening on LinkedIn. So you make the connection request, someone accepts you, and then right away they want to talk on the telephone. Well, talking on the telephone is part of second base, but in the LinkedIn world, in the recruiting world, you want to qualify people as much as possible before you move to the phone. Why? Because you could be texting and messaging 10, 15 people in an hour. You get on the phone with somebody, you're stuck for 45 minutes to an hour. So why not qualify people first, learn enough about them to know if it's really worth your time to talk on the telephone. Now, of course, we're talking about, now you've got the virtual. Facebook, you could literally do a video chat. LinkedIn, you could do the same thing. So we could look at each other right away, ultimately with the intent to what? To meet. Now, we all have our own preferences. We're all attracted to different types of people. So today, if we were going to do any kind of internet dating, well, the parameters have changed. The tools have changed. But one thing hasn't changed, and that is your direct access to phenomenal people. So the thing is that you have to recognize what's happening on these sites. Now, for example, in the dating world, you would find, if you spend any kind of time at all, that people have a tendency to misrepresent themselves. How do they do that? Well, in the dating world, I found that most people shaved 10% right off the top as far as age. So I could be talking to a woman that says she was 40, 46, 47. No, she's 50. Connect with people that were in their 60s. No, they were actually late 60s or maybe even early 70s. And I mean, for a while I did it. I mean, I felt I don't look my age, so I knocked 5 years off my age. And then one time somebody that I was talking to, I told them my age right up front. And they said, well, so why'd you do that? Why'd you lie? I said, well, I didn't lie. The truth is, if I put my real age on there, some people would rule me out because they're doing searches by age. And then they pointed out that, well, it is a little bit disingenuous to talk about being honest, and yet, you're listing yourself down there as 56 when you're actually, 61. And I had to agree with them, so I changed it. I wasn't waiting for people to find me, so it didn't matter if I wasn't coming up in their searches. I'm being proactive. I'm going out. I'm looking for people, and I'm providing them with a picture that was recent, because that's the other thing. People would put pictures that were 15 or 20 years old, or people would describe themselves inaccurately. So people would go to that meeting without proper qualifying, and lo and behold, oh my, right away when you meet somebody whether you're attracted to them. Now, when we get to the business world, it's very, very similar. You start communicating with people, you're trying to learn about them, how they react to you, how they write back to you, how open they are to talking to you. It's the same thing. There are going to be people that you send them a message and you get back one or two lines. And then there are going to be people, you ask them a question, you get really conversational. What happens? You get back 3 paragraphs. You learn more about a person by communicating with them via text. It's easy for people to open up. It's easy for people to complain, tell you things about their life. Why not? They're never going to meet you. They don't know you. And so you have to learn to read between the lines. You have to learn to qualify people. And it's not hard. It's about as hard as going to the supermarket because you're making a salad tonight and you need to get a tomato. And you can't find a ripe one, okay? One that's bright red, one that when you pick it up in your hand, it's soft, it's going to be delicious. Instead, they've got a whole bunch of tomatoes that are pale red. They're hard, especially if you make a lot of salads, it's going to take 3 or 4 days for this tomato to ripen. So what do? What you do is you start shopping for your tomatoes 3 or 4 days before you plan on eating them. That's all. Now, sometimes, we want that salad tonight, and we'll eat a tomato that's a little hard. It happens. You're going to be talking to people every day. Now, we share with all of you how in 2 hours a day, you could be reaching out, communicating with 20 people a day. That's the number. 20 people a day, Monday through Friday, that's 100. Now you're all being taught, well, sales is a numbers game and you got to go through 100 no's to get a yes. Every time you get a no, you should feel good. Oh, thank you. I got another no. I'm closer to getting a yes. No, because you know so much about the person in advance. If you pay attention as you're moving through the conversation process, you're going to discover, well, this person's not a candidate for my business. Stop talking to them. Pick up on somebody else because you're not on an island with a shortage of people to talk to. You're qualifying people by asking questions. And as a result, as they move through your qualifying process, you're going to see there are certain people that you're going to feel, hey, yeah, I want to talk to this person about my business. But when you do that, if you really want to make sure that you have a high conversion rate, in other words, it's one thing to show people the business, it's another people to sign them up. But in order to show them the business, you got to give them something. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people in your business that are just throwing it out there. Hey, would you like to make some extra money on the side? No biggie if not. but why don't I send you this information? Take a look. Now, how many of you are talking to prospects and you send them the information on your company? They never look. They never look. And I would bet you a round trip ticket to Miami Beach and a weekend stay at the Fontainebleau Hotel in a suite, that every time you do that, if the person hasn't looked at it, it's because you didn't do a good enough job in qualifying them. And part of the qualifying process, what you want to do is you want to give people a reason for why they want to be looking at this. You know, in the movie The Wolf of Wall Street, you know, the example they use, sell me the pen. Sell me this pen. All right. Now, you don't have to be a salesperson to be able to sell your product or your service to someone. No, you don't have to be in sales. You just have to be able to show them why they need this pen. I've got a video. I got a video that explains everything about our business. I'd like you to see it. Actually, the truth is that the reason that you want to watch this video is because professionals with your level of experience that are tired of working for other people, professionals with your level of experience who like working with people, who are great at building teams, professionals with your level of experience coaching and training people are having outrageous success in the business. They love this, and you're going to see that when you look at this video. I'm about to launch a special project and help 2 people go to the top of my company in the next 90 days. It's a special project launch strategy. It's a project launch. We're calling it Senior Director 90, or we're talking about, you give it a name. And everything that you need to know about it is right there on this video. So if you'd like to, if you'd like to work with me, I'm prepared to help you go to the top of our company in the next 90 days. And we're going to do the whole thing on LinkedIn because I got a system. Would you be interested in looking at this video? Would you be interested in working with me? You are a recruiter. You are in sales, but you don't have to sell. No, you have to listen. And the biggest problem that most people make, because when people send me that conversation, I mean, what's writing on that? Round trip ticket to Florida, Sweden, the Fontainebleau. But when I look at the conversation, I see right out of the gate, because it's all recorded, that you haven't taken the time to qualify the person. Now, some of you may go, oh, man, that sounds, how do I do that? You start talking to people, you ask them a question casually. And then you have a whole list of about 18 questions you could possibly ask. But all you have to do is ask the first one. And then when they answer, study the answer. Because their answer is going to contain what's going to be the seed to your next question. And if not, then you got the next question on your list. There's a young man that you're going to hear from probably early next week, who's one of my students. He's been, I started to teach him back in the AOL days. He is in the clouds. Last year at this time, he had a team of about 200 people, and he was working with 2 successful network marketers. Together, these 2 guys had made $1 million in the business, but the business had changed. Compensation plan had changed. They were looking for something else to do. He could tell they weren't very social media savvy just by looking at their LinkedIn pages. So he reached out to them. They started a conversation, and he offered some suggestions. He said, listen, I am a social media expert. He says, I was mastered, I was mentored and trained by the guru of the industry. As a matter of fact, I'm his protege. mentioned my name. One of the people knew me. I have no idea who these people were. But then he gave them a simple thing to do. He said, listen, you want to see how this works? Go over to your Facebook page. First, make yourself visible. Change your picture. Just change your picture. See how many people you're connected to respond. Post a joke. See how many people respond. Change your birthday. So he gave them 4 or 5 things to do, and they had immediate success, immediate results. And they were excited. So they signed up in his business. And they brought over 3 more whales. So he went from 2 whales in early December to 5. His team was about 200 people. By June, those 5 whales were up to 16 whales. And he grew from 200 people to 2,000. That's called duplication. That was in June. In September, those 2,000 whales, those 2,000, his team went from 2,000 to 6,000. 16 whales became 23 whales. And his business started to grow organically. In other words, the people that he was bringing into the business were excited. Everybody was working. They love him. They love him. He's living everyone's network marketing dream. Now, when I worked with him back in 21 years ago, he was building prepaid legal. Now he's doing something else. So sometimes you're in a business, you step away from the industry, you come back. Maybe you're in a totally different company, but at the end of the day, here's what happens. You've connected with people that you connected with 5 years ago, 8 years ago, you're connected. You haven't talked to them. They don't know you. You don't know them. But you do something, or you notice something that they did, and you start a conversation. It starts the minute you decide that you want to engage, the minute you want to get into this and do it. But you have to get into it and you have to do it. If I told you that there is absolutely nothing to prevent you, any one of you, from becoming outrageously successful in your business, and you could really get the ball rolling in 90 days. Some of you will get the ball rolling sooner than that. I had one couple that went to the top of their company in 74 days with all brand new people. Brand new people. So I'm waiting to, like I said, and we're going to hook up with Francisco. We're going to share his story. The last time I spoke to him, he was up to 7,500 people in his business, and that was in October. So we want to find out, where is he on the 1-year anniversary of him jumping back into the business. He is on fire. His wife, who was initially very, very skeptical about his network marketing activity, for a period, she gave him a hard time. And there's nothing worse than being in a relationship where your spouse is giving you a hard time. Nothing worse. It's great if your spouse supports you, but listen, you can't blame them. I mean, if you've been in 5 or 6 different deals, you've wasted a lot of time, wasted a lot of money, stayed away from your family, you got nothing to show for it. You got to understand why they're going, come on, get real. The only way you're going to turn around an unsupportive spouse is results. Results. Start putting money on the board. Start bringing things in, because there is nothing sweeter. In fact, I could compare it to a key lime pie, which is my favorite dessert. Key lime pie, I told you so. Okay. I told you so. They're phenomenal. Okay. They're magical. And you know, you don't have to gloat. Sometimes, man, it's sweet to gloat, but it's the feeling inside. As you become successful, you're a different person. As you rise up in the ranks of the company, you're going to change. You're going to, frankly, your whole life changes. And network marketing is your vehicle. And you could say to yourself, man, so many people here have done it. The question is, how did they do it? You hear about these people that jumped into a business and in 30 days or 60 days, they were at the top of the business. What is that? How did they do that? Is it something that you could do? Well, if those people have been in the business for 20 years and they just left the company that closed and they're bringing a boatload of people from the other company with them, on the surface, you could say, that's not duplicatable. I don't have the time. I don't have that huge pool of people that I could go to and build this business so that I can bring them to this new business. Well, I discovered that social networks compress time because you could go out and you could connect with networkers that are unhappy. They've already got large circles of influence. You bring those people into your business and your business will rise just as fast as the person that jumped into your business or jumped into his business, and right away in 30 or 60 days, they rose to the top. You find people in other companies that are unhappy, bring them into your business, point them in the right direction, help them go to the top, and their success is going to push you up. And I've got dozens and dozens of examples and stories of people that did it. And the truth is, you could do it too. Because it's all about the relationship. It's all about the person that you're going to meet that is waiting to talk to you right now. But if you don't get on LinkedIn, if you don't engage, if you don't participate in the action that's on a social network, it's not going to happen for you. It's not going to happen. Now, for those of you that are in my boot camp and you're back, some of you have been away for years, and now you're back. And you're ready to take a bite out of the apple. You're ready to go to work. Anything that you did prior, let's say you left 2 years ago, you had 1,100 connections, and you haven't done anything. Just turn it on, make a post, change a couple of dates, do something that will put you in front of those people. Look and see who's there. You're going to be amazed, absolutely amazed at how quickly things turn around. I have a student, Andy Van Dyke in Amsterdam, that I worked with, and man, she loved to talk. I mean, she great texting conversationalist. And she was in about 3 boot camps, and she, I was looking at the conversations she's having with people. And I said, Andy, the first thing you want to know about somebody is what do they do? But she didn't want to start there. So she started talking about all kinds of stuff, things that were on their website, their pages. And I kept saying, Andy, what do you do? So finally, after going through, I think, 3 or 4 boot camps, she asked me to work with her personally, and I did. And I was doing it a little differently back then, because I'm looking at the conversations after she's been going back and forth for a while. And at one time during a session, somebody answered her right in the middle of our session. So this was an opportunity. I said, Andy, watch this. So I sent the guy back a message. I answered his message with another message, ended it with a question, and the guy wrote right back. And he started to laugh. So we looked at the guy's profile. I said, yeah, there's some potential here. So I wrote him back a message, asked him another question, and boom, he wrote back. So we set the whole thing up literally in that back and forth to where I said, are you ready to talk to this guy? He wants to know about your business. And she signed him up. So that was one of her big aha moments. We said, yeah, well, you're right. I see that. I should have asked, what do you do first? Then in another session, now she started to get excited because now the first question she's asking is, what do you do? So she connects with somebody that a former network marketer that had an organization of 50,000 people in his business, and he wanted to go someplace else. So she brought him into the business, and she made so much money for the first time because of their activity and their growth that she took a 6-month vacation. 6 months. She comes back in the summer. She sends me a message, Max, do I have to start over? Do I need a new profile? I said, no, just change a couple of dates, start posting. And within 3 weeks, she had something like 25 or 30 people that were looking at her business. Time stands still on the internet. All of you, every one of you is heading down the same road. You have access to people. We all have access to the same people. The same people. You do a search for chiropractors, you got 99,000. Anywhere in the world, if we did the same search, the same 99,000 people are going to come up. They come up in a different sequence. They come up in a different order. The chiropractors that live closer to you are going to come up first. The chiropractors that have the most common friends with you, they're going to come up first. But it's the same 99,000. Salespeople that are looking for an opportunity, you got 500,000. But they're all going to come up different based on who you are. And to tell you the truth, today, LinkedIn is being overrun by poorly trained network marketers that frankly are really messing it up, which is one of the reasons why you need to take all of the stuff about your business off your page. This needs to be about you. If it's about you and people like you, then they'll answer your questions. And when you discover at the appropriate time, when you know why you want to show them the business, why they would be interested in seeing the business, that's when you do it. And you'll find a higher conversion rate. If people haven't answered you, you send them a message, you send them a second message. What's going on over there? See, my little Spartacus is flat on his back and he is out. Look at that guy. He is out for the count. I got another one that snores. And thankfully he's not in the room, because if he was, I mean, it's pretty funny. So here's the deal. If you've made up your mind that you really want to do this and you are willing to devote 2 to 3 hours a day, I promise you, you could literally become one of the top earners in your company in 90 days. Now, I do have to say that 2 or 3 hours a day to start. What's going to happen is the busier you get, the more time it's going to take. We got somebody, Tom here, is an old student. He got into one of my boot camps back in, I think it was 2010. I had a gentleman. His name was Howard. He was a chiropractor. I'm sorry. He was a CPA. He was building a business. Actually, the way it started was one of my students was a good friend of his, and he had some health issues. She gave him the products, and they helped him. He had been rear-ended by a drunk driver, so the vertebrae in the back of his neck were fused. He couldn't drive, so he was stuck at home, disabled. And Howard's story actually changed my opinion about people that are disabled, because I used to feel like, if somebody is disabled, they don't want to work because they've got their disability, they've got their insurance, they got all this stuff, and they put all of that at risk if they start making money. Boy, was I wrong. So Howard found that there was an opportunity in the business. Phyllis told him about my program. She gave him all my stuff, and he jumped into my March boot camp. He was building the business. He was using MySpace. He was using LinkedIn. He never liked Facebook. So what happened was he sends me a message, maybe 3 or 4 months into it. He says, Max, this hour a day thing is not working for me. He says, I'm putting in 3 or 4 hours a day. Frankly, I haven't worked this hard in years. I am making more money than I ever made before. And one of his strategies was his company was expanding around the world. And every time the company announced, we're going to New Zealand, we're going to Australia, we're going to the Philippines, he would jump online and he would start connecting with people in those countries before they launched. And he was looking for people in real estate. He was looking for people in real estate. He was looking for pastors and ministers. And he was looking for network marketers in those countries. And his strategy was simple. He's working with an established company that is moving into his country, and he's looking for a few leaders that want to get into the ground floor and help launch his company in that country. And so when the company announced, we're opening up, he had some of the first distributors there. Half of them were leaders. 10 months into it, he sends me a message, Max, I just got my first 5-figure check, monthly check, direct deposit right in my account. And he said he didn't want to work this hard. So he said he brought his son and his daughter-in-law into the business. In January of 2000, I think it was 2011, started in 2010. He got his first 6-figure monthly check. Now, Tom's probably going, I remember him. Roger, he did it. Why didn't Roger do it? I'm sorry. Why didn't Tom do it? Howard did it. You can look around at success stories of people. And so what's the difference between Howard and Tom? Motivation. Motivation. Some people actually questioned, a couple of leaders that actually called the company because they're going, we never heard of Howard. How come nobody's talking about Howard? Well, Howard didn't want to be talked about, and Howard was setting up different organizations for his business in the countries. So he had organizations in about like 6 or 7 different countries. So he never really made the big list. And frankly, he didn't want people talking about it. Howard was a great friend, great guy, passed away, I think it was 2 years ago. Changed the life of his son and stepdaughter. Network marketing is going to change your life. You're learning to bake. You're learning to make salads. You're learning to dance. Whatever strategy, whatever analogy will work for you that will cause you to engage. With that profile, you're free to go out there and connect with as many people as you want. Start having conversations. Now, some of you have been in a number of boot camps, and each boot camp is a learning experience. You should come out of every boot camp with another little level of success. For those of you that are in this boot camp, I'm going to be sending out a message to all of you, encouraging you to jump into our winter retreat. We just opened it up. That's going to take place in February. Bottom line is, when you know what the top earners do, when you do what they do, you can become a top earner too. So it's Friday here in the United States, and we're going to be back tomorrow at 11 a.m. We're going to do a live broadcast again. And at 1 o'clock, I've got a special mastermind session for my coaching students. We usually invite people that are participating in the 11 o'clock Ask Max session. Hey, you want to come over and you need a little hand holding, do that. It's going to be a great year. It's going to be a great month. Many of you will do more business in December than you did all year. And what you do in December is going to set the stage, lay the foundation for your success all through 2022. I'm telling you, there are people waiting for you right now. So with that, I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. We are now counting down till New Year's Eve. So make every day count. Talk to 20 people a day, Monday through Friday. That's going to be 100 people a week. If you're talking to 100 people a week of the right caliber of people, minimum, and I'm going to be conservative, you should be able to bring in at least 2 people. That's 2 out of 100, 1 out of 50. You'll get to a point where your conversion rate is going to be 1 out of 25. And then pretty soon 1 out of 10. Why? Because you're qualifying people as you go. You're learning about them and you're going to notice the routine. It's a routine. You're going to know when you're talking to people that oh man, I love the way this conversation is going. So with that, again, hope you have a wonderful weekend. I'm supposed to be talking to my coaching staff. I understand we have been inundated with requests for me to work with people and coach them. I'm sorry, I only work with 25 people a month, and I only do 3 coaching sessions a day. But if there's anybody that's interested in my coaching program, please type coaching, put your phone number in the chat window, and someone will reach out to you. My preference is to work with people that have been through my boot camps. My preference is to work with people that clearly have a little bit of knowledge, but it doesn't matter. I can help anybody become outrageously successful. And as a matter of fact, coaching is a group. Coaching. My boot camps are a group form of coaching. Just stay in boot camp every month, and you'll get there. So until mañana, tomorrow, best of luck in building your business, folks. And remember this: your business does not slow down this month. No, instead, this can be the best month of the year. There are people out there that want to talk to you right now. So until next time, best of luck in building your business. God bless.